Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a little bit since I've done a video, and there'll probably be bigger links between them, just because I'm always busy. But anyway, I thought I'd bring you along. I'm making a couple of planners. I made one for myself, and I'm making some for some coworkers. So I thought I'd bring you along. This is the one I've made for myself, and I messed up on it, so covered that up with the butterfly. But just a really simple weekly planner. I'm so busy at work, I thought I need something to keep track of everything. So anyway, these images are from, well, they're all from Tracy Fox's planner kits that she has. And so we're going to do something different with these. But I have everything printed. I have all of the planner pages printed and folded, ready to go in a signature. And what I did is I printed with the small border, which is the normal printing for these. And as it got further in, knowing that I'm going to have to cut into this, as it got further in, I switched it to 8x10 so that the size will be a little bit different, but when I'm cutting in here, I'm not having to cut, you know, into the planner itself, planner pages, since I'm putting them all a whole year in one planner. One thing I noticed is that maybe this was meant for the inside, I'm not sure, but this planner, if we're using this for outside cover, is on the wrong side. So, and also when you, I have this plain part and this printed on cardstock, and this is going to be my inside here. So this needs to be the outside, and I'm going to cut it so that I can switch these around and glue them. But also when you put two together, fold them and glue them, and when they fold, there's like a buckling that happens. So I'm going to actually cut this section out and then put another separate piece on there so it doesn't do that. And then I have some scraps for some pockets I want to put in. So I thought I would just bring you along. This is one of the planners, and we'll show the other one here. So what I'm going to do, I've already trimmed the inside cover. I'm going to go ahead and cut this. And then I want to just get this trimmed off here and make sure that when I trim it, I only want to trim it. I might just go ahead and glue that on there and then cut the bottom. But it does come with these darker lines, so I think that's where I'm going to cut for the space that I need here. And I am going to stitch around it as well. So we'll have that on the front. I'll go ahead and trim this one. This looks over here. See if that's enough space. I'm going to trim it to that dark line a little bit there. There we go. That should be good for that. And I'm going to actually put a fabric on the spine, and I have some scrap cardstock. That's about the right height. So I'm going to trim a little piece. Let's see. Let's trim. Do we want an inch? Maybe an inch and a half. I'll trim 2 of these. second planner. It's good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to be covered with fabric. Okay, so I'm just going to fold these in half so that they have the fold on there already for the outside spine. And I'm just doing this to give it extra support in the spine so that it's not a single piece of cardstock, and it will have fabric on it, but I do want to make sure that this stuff lasts at least a year. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and put some glue on this. I think I'm going to use the tacky glue. And glue this down. Because I am going to be doing this video in stages, so I just want to make sure it'll have time to make sure that's right side. It'll have time to dry before I go take it to the sewing machine. Mine was kind of my planner was kind of a test one to, you know, work out any bugs of what I had in my head that I wanted to do. And it's really a simple planner, but okay, let's get that up nice and down. Okay, that's good. That'll be good. Go ahead and trim this down here. Okay. And then do the same thing for this one. I've thought about thinning this glue out a little bit just because it's so thick and it takes a long time for it to come out. Okay, that's good. Looks like it's all matched up fairly good. And then we'll get the spine piece on there. And I'm probably going to stitch on this before I add the fabric, so I'm going to go all the way around. And so I'm going to keep the glue out of the center. Okay, so this cover is done for now. And then we're going to add the fabric after it's stitched around, but I just want to let it dry. There we go. Okay, so that, oh, the only thing left to do now is I want to do pockets to hold notes, and I'm making a really cool simple little notepad, which we'll do on video too. But I couldn't find any digitals or any paper that I liked to go with this. So I thought what I would do, I have these scraps of wallpaper, and I thought we would just use that, and I could decorate this if I want to. So we're gonna go ahead, and I think I'm just gonna use some art glitter glue, because when I sew, I want to be able to sew these on too. So I'm just gonna use some of this. And just enough. I'm doing a very, very thin line. Just enough to hold it in place. Okay. I'm not even going to get the bottom because I'm going to be sewing it, and it should be enough to hold it in place. And I'm not worried about the white edge that's still showing. I'm going to ink it. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, see, that's enough to hold that for sewing. Okay, so cut that off. That's on there good enough, I think, for sewing. Okay, we've got our pockets. All right, and so that can dry now. And then the other one I have from Tracy Fox is this cool one, kind of grungy one. And we're kind of going to do the same thing, but I did find some digitals that I wanted to use. So this is going to be the cover, and I'm actually going to fold this one in half. I don't think I'm going to cut this one. Oh yeah, I am going to cut this one. I'll cut this one in half and then attach it to this one that I folded. So I'm going to trim this up a little bit and get these pieces ready. Okay. So this is going to be the, I'm going to flip it around. This is going to be the inside here. And then go ahead and get this cut in half. So it needs to be cut at 5.5. And then we'll trim from there. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to trim the top and the side and leave this part to cut off after I glue it in place. And I was thinking about doing this because it is a planner, but I'm going to be going over it. This, I think I do want to do this. I'm going to be going over it with some paper, so some of that calendar is going to be cut off, but I'll just trim this side, and then this can be the back. Okay, so I need to trim this down a little bit. Maybe at 5. If I cut it at 5, how is that going to fit on here? That'll be good. So we'll do 5. Well, we'll do 5 1/8. I just want to make sure that that cardstock overlaps. Let's see how that looks. Yep, that'll be good right there. And then we'll do the same thing for this, 5 1/8. There we go. So we'll go ahead and get those attached. Okay, what did I do with my card? Don't know. Probably threw it somewhere. Okay. Trim this off. And then go ahead and get this one on. I'm not normally a planner person, but I'm so busy at work and so many moving parts that I thought, okay, I need to be able to keep track of what's going on, when, and all that kind of stuff. So I thought I'd make myself one. And then after playing with it, talked to the people I work with, and they were very excited to get one. So, okay, trim that. Okay, now we'll put our spine piece on. Yeah, that'll work. So again, same thing. Just gonna glue the outside edge because I'm gonna sew anyway and keep the spine clear for when I add my very large single signature. Make sure it gets on the fold. Okay, So that, the cover part is done. Now we want to add the pockets. And the idea I had is I would print the same one and cut my side pockets from that. So trim this down. Trim the edges off here, and then cut my pockets, and then I can trim the edge off of that. Okay, so I just thought it would look really cool. So we're gonna do I want a 3, 2.5? Probably 2.5. 3 might be too big. Yeah, let's do 2.5-inch pocket on this end. And then we'll do 2.5 on this end. And I'll use this piece, this scrap, for something else on something else. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and trim this top piece here. Actually, I don't know if I will trim it, because I want to match it up. So my goal is to get it to match with the prints here, so that it matches and lines up there. That's what I'll do, and then I'll cut the pieces. Okay, so I think I'm going to use this for that, because this is a little bit more forgiving. And I'll do right about, I'm just going to spot it. It's going to be sewn just enough to hold it on. Okay. There we go. That matches up really nice. So we'll let that dry, and then we'll get this matched up. And then the same thing for this here. I want to get it matched up. I think it just looks so cool to have it line up. And then it's a pocket. Okay. All right, so those are on. I'm just going to trim this. Okay, so we have covers done, 2 covers that need to be sewn with their pockets on the inside. And so I'm going to go ahead and sew those, and then we'll come back and get the signatures sewn in. I'm going to trim up all the pages, get the signatures sewn in. Oh no, we've got to wrap this after sewing. So we're going to put these on. I've got my spines picked out. Get those on, get the signatures sewn in, and then we'll make the notepads that I want to include in here. All right, thank you for showing. All right, so I have the covers all sewn, and I've gotten the pages all prepped. So I've already put the other one together, and I'll show you that at the end of the video. We need to finish this one. So first thing we're going to do is get the fabric on here for the spine. And I thought this would be pretty with it, nice and bright. All right, so cut here. I've had a lot of fun making these, figuring out what I need. So for the pages, if you're using the Tracy Fox planners, for you to be able to get your weeks Monday through Friday like this on every page, you'll need to print 27, but on one side you'll have not this type, like something else here. And then like for this here, I just did notes in the center. So it'll need to be 27 pages, but 2 of those pages can only have the weekly calendar on one side and then something else on the other. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get this. And I need to make sure I have the right side up. I made mine and I didn't pay attention. I was so excited to get it going. And I have my cover upside down, so I actually covered it up with a butterfly, so it didn't look like it was upside down. The cover was. Okay. I like to do it this way and get that edge down and then come back over here. And this is probably why I had it upside down, because I kept flipping it around. Let's cut that off. Oh, that's loose. And then just come down here, and then I know about how far I have to go. And I'm just using 3-in-1. And I'm staying out of the center because I don't want to sticky up my needle. I just got it all ungunked. I have a few needles, but when I was doing these, I kept putting them in putting the glue in the center, and then I'd kept sewing in all my signatures for my books, and then they get this off. I need to get one of those eraser things. Anyway, I gunked them all up. Okay, there's that one, and then we'll get a piece for this side. And this fabric I actually got from Vintage Polka Dot Shop. I love stuff from her. What I'm going to try to do this year is go through and use what I have, making my journals right now, at least for the next few months, and see, you know, because I know I've got some digitals that are printed already. I found some more the other day, so I thought, oh, you know, I better just use what I have. There's so many beautiful digitals out there. I want to work with some from Shabby Dabby Doodah. Those are so pretty. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get this one attached. I'm eyeballing it to try to get it in the center. And then I'm just gonna do that, just kind of get it in that area. Okay. Okay, so I did this is double card, but you know, bending card back and forth after a while wears it out. So, and I'm just checking the edge here to see if I want to cut any of that off. I don't think I do. I think I like it the way it is. Okay, I've already pre-made some things to poke my holes. I actually use the back of my stamp pad. So I'm going to let that dry a minute. And then the pages, I'm going to get them stacked and ready so that they can be put into the cover. But I'm going to give this some more time to dry, the cover. So I'm going to work on something else. So one of the other things, you know, I have these pockets. So I wanted to put, I don't have a huge workspace. I wanted to put some tablets in there, and it took me a little bit while I was working with the other ones of what I wanted to do. So what I did here, first I'll show you this. Well, I have black card on the back. I have some heavier, and I would love another color, but I only have black. So black card for the back just to give it a little bit of stability for the the pad. And so this is another page from the from her one of her planner kits from Tracy Fox. And then on the back I printed the notes so that way you could flip it around. And so what I did is I just basically cut it down the center and then made my two piles. Once I was done with that, let's see, we'll go over here to the to-do. Now I know I want this to be 4.5. They're 4.5 wide. So I don't know if you can see this, but there's a dark line and there's a dark line here. So I used the lighter side dark line to kind of be my starting point and just cut to that and then flipped it around and went to my 4.5. And there might be an easier way to do this, but I like this cutter. And I'm going to do the same thing on this. And for my planner, planners that I've made, they need to be 4.5 wide in order to fit into the pockets and stay in the journal or the planner. I'm going to do that at 4.5. Okay, so those are cut now. And then what I did to get the right height These are 4.5 by, I think it's 7.5. And my cutter doesn't go that far. Yeah, 7.5. So 7.5 tall, 4.5 wide. So all I did was take my back here. So I'm going to do the to-do. And I just kind of eyeballed it. So I know that this, from the top of this T to the bottom of this notes box is about 7.5. It's pretty close. So I'm measuring there, and I just took my pencil and made a little mark where I need to cut. I have my big trimmer, but it's sticky because when I moved, I packed it and we taped it. So, and I need to get some goof off to get it off. And plus I don't have a lot of space. So now that I have that mark, I have that. So I know where to cut it, cutting guide. And then I have this mark down here. So there's that one. And then we'll do this other one. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it. Like, here's the word list, so I want to make sure it's up above a little bit because of how we're going to bind it. It's going to be really simple. Cut this, or make our marks. Sorry if that's loud. I was cutting like 2 and 3 pieces of paper at a time, so one piece of paper goes through pretty easy. Okay, so I believe that's all the cutting we need to do with that. Then what I did is I took this and I measured. It's at 4.5, so I measured an inch in, so at 3.5, and an inch here, one inch. Just made a little dot that I could see on here, and then took my big crocodile, and I'm just kind of centering this over it to make my hole. And then the same thing over here. Okay, so I have my holes for that. And then I take this, go ahead and erase that. Okay, and then I'm gonna, probably on the back of it, put that on. That's kind of dark. Maybe we'll do it on the front. And I'm gonna draw my circles once I know everything is lined up. Okay, draw my circles. And then I'm going to go ahead and take this and cut my holes in those. So we have those holes cut, and I'm going to go ahead and use this, and we're just going to tie it. Let's see, 1, 2, probably a little more than 2. And then let's put this through the hole. Same thing on this side. And I think this makes it kind of nice instead of stapling it. It's a nice presentation, but also when you're done with this list, you can flip it over. You can untie it, flip it over, and you have the notepads or a new list. And we're just going to tie a bow. Okay. Probably can do that a little bit tighter. There we go. That's a little bit tighter. Okay, so there's one done, and I will cut the string a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and do the same thing for this one. An inch in, 3.5 inch, that side, cut our holes. The same thing here. Okay, there's our holes. It's dark on both sides, so I'm just going to have to draw my circles. I should be able to see it because it does shine in the light. Get these punched. There we go. That one was hard to see. Okay, so we've got those punched. And we're going to do the same binding for this. So, there we go. 1, 2, a little more than 2. Okay. There we go. There is the second one. So these two are ready for our journal. So now we're going to, or planner. I don't normally use planners, but, and that's why I keep saying journal, because a planner is not something I typically use. Okay, so first, I'm doing this in stages because my paper is so thick. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure this folds nice. I'm wondering if I should do my things first. Well, I wasn't too hard with the planner the last time. Okay, so I've marked my top here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and poke my holes in here. Okay, and then I just like to go through and make sure I get it all the way through. A big enough hole all the way through, because you can't always see them through the fabric. Okay, there's the holes for those. And now we're going to go ahead. This bigger one is for the pages. See, that's the top. I'm just going to make sure this went all the way through. There we go. Same thing. I'm going to do the same thing for all 3 of the holes because it's a lot of pages. There's 27 pages here. Okay. That out of my way. And now we'll get the string. I haven't bought wax thread because I have all this other thread, so I just can't see buying it. And this works good. I'm able to pull it tight. I do have wax for my beading thread, and I could probably use that for here, for this. Okay, that is the front, that is the top. Now I'm doing it like this just because there's so many pages. Typically I could just put them together and sew it, but I still struggle because my hands, oops, wrong end. I did it the wrong way. Okay, we need to go in. Need to go in here. Out. Out there. I'm just going to kind of wrap that around the thing there. Okay, and then in through the top. At least that's how I do it. I know there's different ways. And then down through the bottom. Alright, and then back through the middle. It takes me a long time to mind. I don't know why. My fingers, I'm sure I've said that over and over, my fingers don't grab good. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and flip that over. There we go. Take all this stuff off. And then I've just been pulling on this really tight. Okay, that looks like it's nice and tight. And go ahead and tie it. There we go. Now let's make sure. Yep, it's the front. There we go. And then I'm just going to check my time really quick. Okay. So the next thing, or the final thing I want to do is a closure. Let's see, what color do we want to use on this? I'm thinking some of these vintage ones right here. Yeah, that'll look nice. Okay, so what I did was I found the center This is just over 8, so I did 4 and I think it's an 1/8, right about there. And the same thing on the other side. Right about there. Cut my holes. I just want to make sure I don't cut my threads. And then we'll go ahead and get this in. That side done, and then get this side done. Okay, so I've got these in, and because this is thinner, they just kind of curl. Okay, I'll put that away later. And then I'm going to use the same thing to tie the journal with. I'm trying to hurry because I have a problem uploading anything longer than 30 minutes. So I have to do videos in increments. And when I do more videos more often, I'll probably look into getting some other kind of setup. Okay, the ties are on. Then we're just gonna tuck our little extra pads in here, right in these pockets. Here's that one, and then we'll tuck this one in here. And there's that one, and then just tie this together. I'll probably put this under something heavy until I take it to the new owners. But there we go. So there's that. That planner is all done. And then I'll show you real quick the other one I finished. This is the other planner. I really love that I switched this instead of having this to the back side, and that's the back of it. I love this digital. And then on the inside, I have the notepad here, and I was able to line that up so it looks so nice, I think. And then the planner pages, and then the same thing over here, another list pad, and then that in there. I'll probably come up with a design of another kind of a planner maybe, but where you can have it kind of all attached. So there we go. Planner's finished for some office people, and mine is all done. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you on the next video.